Let me preface it by saying this. I did a video years ago, and it was back when, of course, I did actually still read Marvel material. And it was tokenism was really increasing. And I was like, okay, guys, I'm going to do a video. I did one for DC and I did one for Marvel. And it was like, I can't remember how many. It was like top 5 or something like that. Black characters that are already existing under these companies' brands that they could utilize and expand upon. Trying to help these idiots out so they wouldn't have to do a bunch of tokenization. But much like we have got with Sam Wilson, which is a demotion, we have that for one of the characters that I mentioned. I actually did a video when they brought this character back. I did a video saying, yes, maybe they are watching my material. Maybe they're going to start listening. And then they do what we're doing, what I'm about to read to you right now. And they demoted him. And what I mean by that is he's an original character on his own, has his own branding, all of that. You, instead of utilizing that, you say, no, we're going to take this character that everybody recognizes and we're going to have them get the hand-me-downs from those characters. Because remember, you only see legitimacy in white characters. That's it. So this is why I say it's the same as Sam Wilson, because Sam was okay as Falcon. He should have remained Falcon. He should always be Falcon. Instead, they give him, make him tokenize Captain America. And they hyper-emphasize these social justice aspects as he's Captain America. It happened with the character that I mentioned before, Synch. And big shout out to my man's Caffeinated Wolf was on my team. He sent me this story, and it's funny the spin that the Access media is going with it. X-Men's best Wolverine isn't Logan or Laura. So you read that and you're like, what? First of all, Laura isn't Wolverine. No matter what y'all call her, Wolverine is Wolverine, and that's it. There is only one. But this is what happened. And this was back when I was reading. It said, for many fans, Wolverine is their favorite member of the X-Men. He's been the most prominent face of the team alongside Charles Xavier and Magneto, and has huge steps in Marvel's non-mutant side of the universe. Then in 2003, a new version of Wolverine appeared in the X-Men Evolution TV series. Laura Kinney, also known as X-23, Laura is a clone of Logan and had such positive fan reaction that she went on to become a prominent figure in X-Men comics. All that being said, the mutant Synch is giving them both a run for money. Okay. When I read that, I was like, what? So they're going to explain right here. Synch has the power to mimic abilities of mutants that he's around. Yes, he does. And Jonathan Hickman's recent X-Men run, Laura, Synch, and another mutant, Darwin, go on a mission to recon the Vault, a place where time moves much faster than out. And yes, that is true. He has historically, Synch, been actually depicted as a younger guy, and on top of that was when I stopped reading. It was during that version, because really what happened is they put him in the Vault, or they went in the Vault, and then they didn't touch the story for a very long time. I guess up until recently, because again they go in the Vault and then they just went on like fucking Synch. I was bragging about his return, and then they go in the Vault, and then it's like, oh well, okay, and then we didn't hear from him forever. And so Synch, what happens is that due to this, the team spends centuries fighting in the Vault, even though only months have passed outside. Synch obtains Laura's Wolverine abilities, and although she unfortunately doesn't make it out the Vault alive, Synch is able to maintain her powers despite being in her presence. Ultimately, Laura got resurrected on Krakoa, but without the memories of time she spent in the Vault. So for those of you that don't know what that is which makes sense because they wouldn't have been able to copy that because she was in the Vault. Krakoa, X-Men is a mess. So this is when I stopped reading. You had the, House of X and the Powers of X, which is basically this large reboot of X-Men. And part of that, and what happened was, out of that, the X-Men go on their own island, or basically it's a mutant island by the name, and it's a living island, by the way, and it's called Krakoa. That's the name of the island that they're on. It's basically a mutant nation state. And in there's this handful of, sounds ridiculous, but this is what it is. There's a handful of different mutants that have various powers. They can utilize their powers, bring them together to create an egg, right? And because of the psychic mutants and all of that, they can basically plant the memories of these various characters onto that egg and resurrect basically anybody. So what it did is there's no consequence to death, right? You remember when what's his name? Was it Kitty Pryde that drowned or some shit? They brought her ass back. And as you know, Laura, they're calling Laura Kinney. They're calling her Wolverine now. And that's how she's back, even though she supposedly died in the vault, because there's no consequence, and these handful of working mutants can just bring back fucking characters. I know it doesn't make sense. You got to look at my old X-Men videos. I cover all of that. But that's how it is. So Synch now has, even though she's dead, which doesn't make sense, that sounds antithetical to how his powers work. Even though she's dead, he has her powers, right? And there's this part which is the insult part of it all. He said, "You didn't let me finish. Fact is, I've been a Wolverine longer than anyone alive." And as you can see, he has the two fucking, so now he's tokenized version of a tokenized character. He has been demoted. He has been diminished to being, you had Laura, who was tokenized Wolverine on her own. Now you have tokenized Tokenception, because he copied her powers. We had a gender swap. Now we got a race swap and gender swap from the gender swapped version. So we kind of got our tokenizations up in the mix right here. And now for whatever reason, they got to run this fucking dialogue to say, oh, he's been Wolverine for longer than everybody's alive. And look, if they were going to do that, I wouldn't have told y'all that they should have expanded upon his character, because now he's dead. Fuck this is a fucking useless character. If you're going to just completely demote him to being someone else, then where he is actually stating that he is Wolverine. It's not like Rogue or something where, Rogue is Rogue. We know she takes people's Carol Danvers and her powers and shit, but it's still Rogue. She maintains, that's a part of her power base, but she maintains her semblance of uniqueness and being her own character. Whereas the Synch copies her powers, and now he's going around talking about he's fucking Wolverine. Jesus Christ, man. It's a dead company, man. I just telling y'all, these guys have no talent. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to write black characters. They suck at their job. The diversity hires that have no business being near anybody's comic books. And to be fair, Marvel and DC would be the only people that will hire them, because nobody's buying that dog water. Nobody's buying that shit. Nobody's buying it outside of if it was tied to the X-Men or something that already exists. If they tried to create on their own, which often these writers do, they don't make no money. They're broke. Hell, and Marvel and DC ain't paying them well either. But either way, they do get to have the rights to destroy characters that you guys know and love. This is what I'm saying. Just let it go. At this point, we mock, shame, we laugh at their efforts. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. They don't know what they're doing. So just let's laugh. Let's make fun of these goofballs and learn from what not to do for those of us like myself who are entering into their own creative space in comic books and they want to make some money. These guys fucking suck. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.